Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Van Epps. I'm a SAFE advisor to Agile Hive. And I get this honor because I'm a SAFE practice consultant trainer, and I've helped many organizations transition to SAFE. And I am the biggest fan, yes, in the world of Agile Hive Cloud and Data Center. So they asked me to do some educational kind of sessions and include how we accomplish these success patterns with Agile Hive. And so today's topic is on product management with Agile Hive Cloud. I'm going to look at my timer. I get 20 minutes max. Let's see what we can accomplish in that short amount of time. If you saw our session on Release Train Engineer in the last month's review, you're familiar with this idea of the responsibility wheels. These are part of SAFE 6.0, and I love them because of the visualization and the summary. Now, my experience is that product management is one of the hardest, most impactful, busiest jobs in any system development effort. Now, it's no different in SAFE. We often emphasize in SAFE, really, release train engineers, but my experience is that the people that I coach the most and have helped them transition from how they're working prior to Scaled Agile is really product management. So I'm going to go through these responsibilities one at a time and show you some of the things that we do in Agile Hive Cloud to support these. Now, I am going to start with what I see is the most critical, important responsibility of product management. Now, from the SAFE article, you'll see these bullets on the right, what this product management role, which is usually a set of people. I rarely work with a release train where there is only one product manager. So it's usually a set of people kind of sharing these responsibilities or specializing in different aspects of the solution. So let's look at what this really means. So feature creation is so important. Where I coach people is getting away from creating one feature per component team. Like, what is the whole scenario of what supports a customer? And here's an example from my example system that I have implemented in Agile Hive Cloud. And you can see we've got a benefit hypothesis, the why. We've got acceptance criteria, which helps us build in quality. These are some of the hardest things for product management to really hone in on. And it requires a lot of collaboration, and often collaboration with specialists in different topic areas, with quality assurance specialists on acceptance criteria. And then quite important, in fact, essential here as we scale Agile is what you see at the bottom on the SAFE hierarchy, where you decompose a feature at the highest level into the user stories that are implemented by different teams. Now, this is one thing I love about Agile Hive. I can easily see that even though this feature is mostly focused on what the GPS team would do, we also have work contributed by the orbital displays team, the navigation controller team, and I can easily see the status of the product. So I intentionally put this responsibility first in this presentation because well-articulated, decomposed, and understood features are likely the most important success pattern in applying SAFE. Do you know who said that? It was me. It's because it's true. So the next thing in the responsibility under features is prioritization. You may not know this because this is new, hot off the press in Agile Hive Cloud, but now we have the components of weighted shortest job first. And if you're not familiar with that prioritization technique, I'm happy to talk to you about it more, but I love it. it helps remove prioritization based on the loudest voice in the room. It helps incite the right discussions about the work that helps us refine the definition of the work around these elements. And what you see here is from my cloud instance, I just created a filter in the JIRA issues view to show the components of weighted shortest job first. Yes, I would have to open up each one of these features to change these components and recalculate the weighted shortest job first. And there's another workaround I could talk to you about with this, but this I find is extremely useful. And I set all these WSJF values on these features in just a couple of minutes and refresh this view, and boom, I had exactly what I needed. So thanks, Daniel and team, for implementing that. The next responsibility we'll go through quickly is delivering value. Whew, that is so loaded. You have to deliver value to your internal customers, the people defining business strategy, the people who want you to maintain sound economics. You have to provide value that customers will pay for. What? That they will use, that they will advocate for, and things that will distinguish your product over any competitors, even if the competitor is like a homegrown solution, which is something that we often see as a provider of Agile Hive as a safe solution on JIRA. And we have to help demonstrate value incrementally and get feedback. Whew, that's a lot of stuff. How is Agile Hive going to help support that? Well, here's just one simple example where we have a portfolio, a strategic theme, right? This is the business strategy, and we are going to link it to a feature at the art level. Linking this in the tool is the easy part. You capture it for all to see. Figuring out how exactly is this feature going to help us grow early adopters? How are we going to measure that, right? That is the hard work of the product manager. And the problem that we see is that product management does all this hard work and then it stays in their head. And other people, don't have their psychic capabilities to get that, to constantly refer back to that. And so the tool becomes our single source of truth for communicating it. So we also want to deliver value based on what customers want and need. Some of my favorite tools, even before SAFE came along, were some of these customer-facing, user-focused tools like an empathy map. Okay, so here's an example of an empathy map canvas. We're empathizing with a production service supervisor because there is this enabler to study production and services issues. This is actually something I helped a large customer do, and no one on the art really understood what the production supervisor's frame of reference was. How do we capture that? We captured an empathy map. We can show that in a meeting. We can stick it away in Confluence somewhere, but even better, why don't we connect it directly to the work, this enabler, so whoever is going to do this work has it as easily accessible as possible. And then one of my favorite things, you probably saw this in the RTE session last week, is preparing for the system demo. This is a Confluence page that is linked to a feature in my example system. And we articulated the acceptance criteria, and we worked with system architects to create a view of the scenario for basically general navigation. And then we overlaid the detail. This is like test first development on our work. When we are going to get ready to implement a feature, we say, what are we going to demonstrate? What are we going to demonstrate that shows value? And what are the things that our customers care about? I can tell you, because an insurance company I worked with last year, when they first started doing their system demos, they were down in the weeds. Like the team who wrote this mapping from one tool to another, they like got down in the weeds of the XML. Did the customers really relate to that? Nope. They didn't care about what was down in the weeds. They cared about, well, what is going to happen that gives me value? So we definitely want to connect this together in delivering value. Next responsibility, exploring markets and users. We want to provide the market context as part of the vision for the product and each planning interval. I was supporting a PI planning once for a medical device company building CAT scanners. And the PM put up this extensive Excel spreadsheet. And I went, oh my God, are people going to resonate with this? But when he walked through it, he said, look, no one else in the CAT scanning market can give this level of detail of results in this fast response time. No one else can do that. And here's the powerful thing. He said, we can diagnose cancers more accurately and faster than anyone in the market. Whoa. If you're working on that product, are you motivated? Absolutely. We're also going to use milestones and events, not just, hey, we're showing off Agile Hive, but we're going to go to the RTE Summit and we're going to talk to people and we're going to find out what they need. We're going to use that as a learning opportunity. So here's an example. How do we capture that? Well, you've been to PI planning, right? And you've seen the slide from product management. Here's the slide from my sample system. And then you leave PI planning and do people have that at their fingertips to refer to? Is it burned into their brain cells so they don't need to go back and find out what you said? No, what we need to do is put it in our single source of truth, which is Agile Hive Cloud. And here's an example of where I just created an objective issue type and said, we're going to implement the PI vision and we're going to attach the vision articulated by product management. It has nowhere to hide. Next, leveraging milestones. Here's an example. You're probably familiar with this art roadmap. And here is a milestone issue type with the date. And I was playing around with that this week because I didn't have the milestone date yet in my version. And I put the milestone date and then I came back over to here and boom, with the date on there, it just showed right up. It's like magic. So the other thing, which I didn't make a screenshot of, is I can create dependencies between this milestone issue type and the work that we're going to do in the planning interval. So very powerful. Connecting with the customer. We already showed you the empathy map, one of my favorite customer centricity tools. We want to adopt a customer-centric mindset. You mean in product management? Yes. And across the entire set of people building this system, we want to empathize with the customer, apply design thinking, like the empathy map and customer journey maps, and involve the customer continuously, like we're doing today in this review. Awesome. Empathize with the customer. This is a little bit self-serving because this product manager changed her viewpoint. This is actually something I did. I was talking to one of our customers about flow metrics, and I said, you know what, Sean? I don't really know why this chart, this graph that SAFE shows you is really going to be valuable, because your target distribution of the work between customer-facing work and enablers and improvements, it could change from PI to PI, right? And he's like, yes. And he explained to me that what they really want to do, in addition to seeing this work distribution, we're just going to start with that, is that we want to look at the targeted distribution for each PI and see where we're meeting those distribution targets. Sorry, my touchpad is very sensitive. Where we're meeting those, we do need this historical to see what we've done in the past. And then he said, even more, I want to connect the work distribution targets to the organization's priorities. You mean you're going to have like strategic themes and those kinds of things? He said, yes. So these are scenarios that I crafted based on better understanding of how the customer needs to use the flow distribution. So I'm going to, capture that as part of the work when I've captured this for our development teams actually, but when we start to articulate those features, we want to review with customers like you. And then here's another example with customer centricity. We want each person on the art to be able to think through this and say, but wait a minute, will all the customers understand the difference in accuracy between these different kinds of data? This could have easily been Joshua, who documents all our, the usage scenarios and our help systems and our blogs. We would expect him to be able to say, if they don't understand that, what additional information or disclaimers should we provide? A documentation and marketing guide. Thank you, Joshua, for taking the customer-centric view. And next is my last responsibility, product strategy, vision, and roadmaps. You already saw connection to business strategy. We already showed you how we capture the vision. We've already seen a roadmap, the one with the milestones. So we want to keep all the ART members and stakeholders focused on the goal. If we don't have this single source of truth, if we don't keep emphasizing the vision, what happens? I see it everywhere. We're constantly challenged with the inertia of being in the weeds. Team one is going to gold plate their stories because they can, because that's part of their culture. But what if gold plating that part of the overall solution is not the most important thing? And so this is where the collaboration with product management and development and marketing and et cetera is so critical. And this is why we have to be able to point to this single source of truth in Agile Hive. So in conclusion, each of these responsibilities articulated for product management, for each of them, there's one consistent theme. Wait, isn't this the same slide you had last month, Cindy, but instead of product management, you said RTE? Yes, you caught me. Why? Because this is so true if we want transparency, collaboration, and alignment. You can go to meetings, you can send emails, you can hope that people keeps all this complex information in their heads. But if you rely on that, you're delusional. What we have to do is really use this single source of truth for managing those complexities to keep everything moving in the same direction as efficiently and effectively as possible. So the last thing here is I have a link to the blog that Josh and I wrote on product management. It does use screenshots from Agile Hive Data Center. And that's why I wanted to bring you these screenshots from Agile Hive Cloud. And that concludes my topic and my 20 minutes. So we would love to hear from you other ways that you need Agile Hive to support your product management function. In conclusion, I'm Cindy Van Epps. I'm bringing you these topics that are deep dives into SAFe and how Agile Hive supports these important success patterns. And please reach out to me or to Cyber Group for any additional discussions on this topic.